watch addict. It's been a few weeks now since I last made a watch purchase, but I've been looking at every opportunity of making another one. Yes!
How many watches have you added to a watch list or bookmarked a tab on?
Oh,
This shows the real depths of the problem.
yeah, I'm in multiples of tens. I watch too many watches.
No, that's not possible.
Oh, thank you, AJ.
Wash your mouth out, young man.
Yeah, no, you're right. I am stalking way too much, and so many variations of watches as well.
My name's AJ. I also am a watch addict.
Welcome, AJ.
It's been...
Tell the truth.
It's been 7 days since the last time I bought a watch.
Wow, you're really on the road to recovery.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I bought 2 the week before though.
Yeah.
Look, okay, it's a problem. I acknowledge that. That's why I'm here with you, sharing the problem. But to balance it out, I did sell some cheap old ones that don't come anywhere near to the value of what I bought, but they, in my head, sold a watch, bought a watch, got the same amount.
Yeah. Watch gone, watch in.
I actually figured out that I sold 19 watches this year.
Wow. That must hurt.
No.
Do you know what?
It's actually been a really nice process.
It's kind of like saying goodbye to a child. Your own child, I mean, not just a random child. Bye.
So
but
just
like,
in the street.
You have this thing that you lusted over, and you go, yeah, one day, you get that thing, you look after it, and then you go, do you know what?
I think
I feel differently now.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I feel differently now. And I think a lot of the ones I've let go to weren't the ones of like one day. It was, oh, that's nice.
Today.
Ah,
okay, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. And then you get it, you wear it once, and you're like,
So you saying the easier watches to drop money on, the like Seiko kind of money, aren't as special and therefore are easy to part with?
Look, I don't want to go back on a rule that I've made in the past that all watches are the same.
Yeah.
But yes. What the nice thing with like the cheaper end of the market is that you can play.
Yeah.
You can play, you can dabble. You're not going to get burnt too hard, especially if you buy well. You can sell them. Like you can just play. Like, oh, that looks like fun. I'll buy it. And you may be really nicely surprised. I think like D-Trash.
Yeah.
Like a really nice surprise. Like, oh, do you know what? That's really cool. I'm going to keep that.
Yeah.
And then I look at something like, I don't know, maybe a Spinnaker that I've bought that was like, it's cool at the time. I fell out of love with it really quickly.
Yeah.
I can move it on.
So it's the watches that kind of sit very much on their own, still have something special. There's not quite a similar watch to it. Whereas a lot of those easy access watches that you go, yeah, I can kind of guilt-free just buy that now, and I've bought another watch. The problem is they are very similar to something that you really aspire to, and it is just a stepping stone.
I think it's actually a really good topic for a future episode is like smaller brands and I hate that word, micro brands, but everyone uses it.
Yeah.
They're the best when they are their own thing and not trying to be a homage or like a slight kind of variation of something else. Then, well, like you say, they sit in their own space.
I watched a really good video by Adrian Barker, Bark and Jack. He covered like the explorer journey in different price points. Great video. Point being, you had this Christopher Ward that had this GMT explorer looking dial. Yeah. Same sort of style, numbers around the outside, Then you had the Black Bay Pro, which
Tudor Explorer,
which is obviously well fitting.
Yeah.
And then he had the Rolex Explorer, being a bit of a Rolex nerd. So obviously his watch of choice won, but he covered all price points. So that you've got this Christopher Ward, you've got the Tudor Pro, and then you've got the Rolex Explorer 2. The interesting thing with that is when you start out and you go, well, the Christopher Ward's such good value for money, it sits exactly the same as those others, so could quench my thirst. You buy that as your stepping stone watch, And then you think, oh, I don't really want the Tudor now. So then what do you do? Do you settle with that, knowing full well that the worst situation for me is go, oh, no way, is that the Black Bay Pro? And you go, no, it's the Christopher Ward. Which is why my Christopher Ward is entirely different. It stands alone as like a unique piece by Christopher Ward. It can't be mistaken for.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you would say, especially in a watch circle, that everyone will know the Christopher Ward for what it is.
Yeah.
Like that everyone knows the brand and the value that it brings. But it's the slightly less educated people who might comment on your watch. I remember it so much being in your company as well, when you had your bimetal Breitling chronomat on, the amount of times you got asked, is that a Rolex?
Yeah, that was the most common.
So, I guess it happens because that watch is clearly, everyone knows doesn't even look anything like a Rolex, but I think it's a common thing wider.
Non-watch people will make the kind of broadest statement.
Yeah.
So, Rolex is the name that everyone knows, even if you're not into watches. So instantly, if you weren't into watches and won the lottery, you would go out and buy a Rolex thinking, I've made it. Yeah. Boy's done good. So, which is why most people aspire to a Rolex. So everyone has that notoriety. I've got a Rolex. Whereas the reality is, if you're among watch lovers and you're rocking a Christopher Ward or a Nodus or something, like, they're going to go, no way, you're a fan of that as well.
Yeah.
Like, it will get picked out. It's...
I guess that's interesting in itself, isn't it? At that point, it's like you're almost more likely to spark a conversation with a fellow watch nerd if you're wearing something that is less than obvious.
Yeah.
Like you say, if you're wearing that Christopher Ward GMT, you'd be like, oh, no way, you're clearly into watches. Because if you're not, you're probably not buying a Christopher Ward.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever gone like on a $6,000 budget. No way, that's a Grand Seiko.
No.
Nobody ever went.
No one's going to look at this and go, no way, you're wearing a Norcane. Is that the wild one?
Yeah.
No way, no one knows it.
But a watch nerd would 100% clock that.
Yes.
Yeah. So it depends. Ultimately, do it for you. Find something for you.
It's got to be. Yeah.
And just be okay with that. So for me, the bit for me is I like exhibition window. That is clothes off, only I get to see.
Yeah.
But I like it in every watch if possible. Mate, when you look at some of those classy movements, like the Breitlings that have exhibition case back, love it.
Yeah, the new B31 movement.
Come on, why were we hiding this away?
Yeah.
But I've also seen it on Kickstarter. We can do a whole episode on a watch that I've seen on Kickstarter. But like elaborate detailing on the movement, that's the bit that's for you. The watch is just the watch. I've got a timepiece and that's job done. But the bit for you, that's why I love those kind of details.
Yeah.
Not everyone's the same, and that's absolutely fine.
It's beautiful. Like exhibition case window, I'm with you on that. I love it when they're there. I talk about it all the time. I love depth and texture. Like the dial's got to have some kind of depth to it. There's got to be some kind of 3 dimensions to it. When it's just flat, I get a bit bored.
Yeah.
I love the texture of watches. Just like feeling different materials and stuff. Yeah, depth and texture. So everyone's different. But what I'll go back to the original point with a problem a lot of the smaller brands have is when they just try to be something else rather than try to be their own thing.
Yeah.
And the ones that are their own thing, I think they're the ones you buy on a whim because they're a bit cheaper, but you end up keeping because they're nothing else is stepping on its toes.
Yeah.
It's like it's its own thing, and that's really cool. And I think the only one from that kind of market of watches that I've bought that I've kept is the D-Trash. Seiko Speed Timer as well. They're 2 from that kind of space that I kept.
It just confirms the point. They're 2 that stand alone very, very well. Obviously, you're excluding Christopher Ward in that kind of entry level.
I don't consider them entry level anymore.
No.
Because the price point, because it's getting so close to £1,000 or above.
Do you know, I've got a real problem with the whole thing with the Christopher Ward thing. I'm still deeply in love with it, and I'm in danger of, the more I look at that loco.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's dangerous for me.
It's totally unique.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. I'd love to. In fact, we're going up to Birmingham, aren't we, to the watch event?
Yeah, watch it. So out of all the watch events that are happening in the UK, we've chosen Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, why not?
Yes.
And they're going to, what my point is, they're going to be there. So we'll get to hopefully get hands on with one just to see what it's like.
I'm quite looking forward to that. Because,
and then we'll see how much the problem actually is. It's expensive.
It's always a nightmare.
How much is it? Do you remember?
It's my Tudor money.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it
yeah.
3? Is it
it's,
3, 4?
I'm sure it's on the same as the Tudor Pro, sort of like, it's within that 4 budget.
Yeah, it's a lot. But, I mean, there's nothing else. There's nothing else that offers what it offers. And for the watch nerd, the ticks, that 100-hour power reserve, the open balance wheel, and a beautiful design that it's encased in.
Yeah, so
it's hard to
I like
it.
how they've treated the smaller watch dial itself within it, because I'd never wear a watch that small. I like a bigger watch.
Yeah.
I like your friend, not mine, because he always talks to you, Pork. Now, he has the new Tudor 68. I always think it should be the 69, but they've gone, that'll be too on the cheek, so whatever. 68. 43 mil. That is like the perfect watch on my wrist.
Yeah.
But I know I'm telling lies because I've tried the Tudor Pro and it looked amazing, and it's a 39.
Yes, yeah.
So
it's all about the watch.
Yeah, different watches. So you've got to try them.
I know we talk about like breaking our watch rules all the time. That Breitling that we put a video out about recently, we went up to Bristol to try out the Top Time B31.
Yeah.
That's 38. And yet on my wrist, I was like, it carries itself so much bigger with that beautiful bracelet and the polish that it has. You go, well, I would have never, ever have looked at a 38 mil. So when I'm like online looking at watches, I'm usually filtering out below 40 mil anyway, like on the options. So how many watches like that have I missed? Yeah,
there's definitely some 39s that I can get away with. And I did a bit of a misservice to Volcane with that cricket going, it's too small for me. I spent a day wearing it and just lusting over, just looking at my wrist and going, I could get away with that size,
It was only watching it back. My initial reaction, it's so funny, like you, I put it on and my first reaction was, this feels way too small.
Yeah.
And I knew the numbers in my head because obviously prepping for the video. And I was like, this just feels too small. I know it's small and it's kind of dress watch. And then I watched back when editing that video. And I was like, and I'm holding up to the camera like this going, this is too small. And I'm looking at myself going, it looks perfect on you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks good. And now you sound like an idiot.
Now I sound like an idiot.
You're convincing everyone else of what you see and it's not true.
Yeah.
It's that shallow how thing, isn't it? I think it's this way and therefore...
Do you think there's a part of it as well that the sizes of things look different when you're looking down on them?
Yeah.
But to other people, they look bigger? When you're looking down.
No, maybe smaller.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense, actually.
Yeah.
They never return the call.
I think for me, because I'm always wearing big watches, so I've got the U-Boat U47 on now.
Thanks for asking.
47 millimeter. Okay, so it's big.
It's big.
Canteen, because it's, dive.
Yeah.
But old school, kind of World War II, when everyone was trying to do those canteens, and there was some epic watches at the time that came out with the canteens. If you're going to do a canteen, it's got to be a left hook.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just uncomfortable on the wrist. I've tried it with the TW still.
It's just going to say that.
I've got the wear mark on my wrist to prove after like a year of wearing the TW steel.
I've still got a scar on my wrist from a TW steel as well.
Yeah, it kind of wears like hard skin, like callus.
Yes.
So I'm used to looking down at a U47. Right, I typically pick this up quite a lot and then forget to change it regularly and then go, I've got all these other watches that I should rotate. Because I'm seeing that, when it came to like the Volcane, I go, oh, I've got so much skin on show now.
Yeah.
There's less coverage going on. So it's a bit of a shock. So throw out your watch rules because just try stuff.
Try stuff. And the other one I would say, and we learnt this when we were looking at Grand Seikos, look at yourself in a mirror rather than looking down at your watch. It tells you an entirely different story about the sizes. The Grand Seiko GMT, which was a 43, which is the one I wanted to go and look at. And I was trying to convince myself that it fitted me okay, but I knew it felt a little big. And you kept saying, go and look at yourself in the mirror. And so in this jeweler's, I go and I look in the mirror and I'm kind of holding it up to myself and just looking in the reflection. I'm like, it's way too big for me. This is way too big. And the opposite end of the spectrum, that Vulcane Cricket, the President Cricket, which is 39, was it?
Yeah.
Again, like I said, watching that video back. So it's like looking in a mirror. I'm looking at it and going, that fits me perfectly. So my idea of sizes are totally skewed, and in part by what things are like when I'm looking down at them on my wrist.
Yeah. I try it when I'm in a jeweler's, I try and get as much wrist roll footage as I can. And the footage I prefer the most is where it's kind of natural resting position.
Like in your pocket or something.
Yeah. Your hands down by your side. Get a shot of it like that. If you can, put a timer on your phone, just get that relaxed side shot of it. What does it look like to other people? And then you see if it truly fits you or not. Because you cannot believe the salesman.
Don't believe them.
They're going to tell you that watches that you definitely don't like are perfect for you.
Well, yeah, don't believe them. And also, don't believe the price tag. I'm going to do a whole episode on this at some point, but don't believe the price tag, which is why it's important to be in the jewelers. Because if you ask the question, what's the best you can do on this then? They'll tell you a different price.
So it's amazing.
Every time.
When we sat down, you go, we should just film our conversation. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I had no idea that we were going to go and do all of this, blah, 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 blah. Right? You were like, yeah, well, we could talk about our eBay habits. And I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. But here we are just waffling on. So, if you're a watch addict and you enjoy this kind of waffle, hit subscribe.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't know if you've listened to a podcast before. I don't know if it's a new concept to you.
No, I am into the podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Norcane Wild one today.
Yeah.
And I changed the strap. I don't know if when I showed this watch I had the turquoise strap or not.
I think it was dark, wasn't it?
It was black. It came with a black strap. Interesting story. Again, about talking directly to people rather than just buying off websites. I bought this off a website, off Goldsmiths. And it arrived and had the black strap. And I really loved that kind of crazy color combinations that you can have with their brand. Really fell in love with that turquoise. You can't buy the straps. You just can't find them. No one sells the straps. So I emailed Norcane directly, like, can I buy straps? And they're like, oh, you can get them directly from the ADs if you want to order them. Going to come back to Tudor in a minute on that point, actually. I've just reminded myself of something.
Oh, God, not this again.
Anyway, I then hunt around on Norcane's website, and there are the straps for sale. Yet Norcane themselves told me you can't buy it. So I went, okay, well, I'll just order off your own website, and it comes from Switzerland, and it arrived within 3 days. But yeah, so I've kind of jazzed it up. I've AJ'd it.
Yeah, I like it.
I've made it mine. I love it. I love that colour strap. I really love it.
It throws the watch off your wrist. Yeah,
totally.
Everyone has to look at it now.
Tudor. If anyone from Rolex/Tudor watches this, I know you won't. What the hell is up with your straps and the service on them? How long's it been?
Oh, April.
Was it April, was it?
No. I'm trying to think.
I think it was March. Anyway, I ordered a replacement strap for the Tudor Black Bay Ceramic Blue. And you can't order direct from Tudor. You can't order from any of the retailers. You have to go into the jewelers and ask them.
So in April was 12 weeks.
Wow.
So you should have received, by the end of April, you should have received it based on the forecast when it was ordered.
which was 3 weeks. When it was ordered, it was 3 weeks. And then you got in touch in the 4th week saying, what's happening?
Yes, sorry.
And
I'm thinking of service cycles.
No.
Service cycles, 12 weeks.
It's 3 weeks for the strap. So we went in and ordered this strap from the AD, and they have to order it from Tudor. They said 3 weeks. And in the 4th week, they then said, it's going to be 3 weeks. And it's now been, I think, another 6 weeks since then. It must have been.
At least, yeah.
And I almost kind of given up on it. The worst bit is they make you pay for it in advance. So you have to pay up front.
Yeah, no, you're waiting for like ever.
Just waiting for it.
Yeah.
So apparently Tudor just
But
don't sell straps.
Here's the thing. They're like, is it like 150 quid for a strap through an AD?
Without the buckle.
Direct. Yeah, without the buckle. So there's your lever, right? Then you have the flippers who will either buy a watch in on part X, take the strap off,
Yes.
put like a aftermarket strap on
Deluxe
it,
on or something.
yeah, and then sell the strap on.
Yeah.
They're flipping them for like 200, 250.
Here's the thing though. If you knew now what you knew then,
Yeah.
you would just go to a flipper. I'd pay an extra £100 to get it
Yeah.
in a timely manner.
I would pay for that as well so that
Yeah.
you'd stop going on about it. Yeah. Because it's becoming a daily occurrence now.
I don't bring up that much.
Wow.
Okay. So what I wanted to talk about today, Pete, is eBay.
Yeah.
Firstly, it's becoming a huge problem in my life.
Look, eBay is a problem for everyone. I was a very late adopter of using the platform.
Yeah.
However, it's been a bit of a game changer.
I think eBay is going to fundamentally change the watch market. Like seismic shifting in how watches are traded.
Here's the thing. You have to kind of address where we've come from to get here.
Yeah. Before.
So this is the world of watches up to, let's say, 2017, 2018.
No, I'm going to go even
pre that?
No, I'm going to say the world of watches before authenticity on eBay. I think literally the past 12 months is where the seismic shift has happened.
So the journey I was going to take you on is I've bought a watch about 2017. I spent $5,000 on a watch. Years later, you want to turn that back into cash. Now, the mentality for luxury watches has always been about 60% is scrappage. So whatever you spend $10,000 on a watch for ease of numbers. £6,000 of that will always be the resale value. There's like some scrappage money in that value of the brand, materials, what's going on there. Providing you keep box and papers so we can kind of see that it's an authentic model. Look after the watch, it will look after you, 60% of the money. Now, it was never really that clear how that money existed because Dave down the pub isn't going to give you the money. You go, Dave, it's a 10 grand watch. I only want $6,000 for it. I've had it for a few years. It's good, Nick. But then all of a sudden, there was a real marketplace for them. Because the only existing one was hopefully a jeweler's might take it, take a commission off of you, and then put it in their window and say, if I sell it, I want 20% or whatever, right? That is the only real existing situation where you could put some trust in it. Although businesses went bust, and then what happened to your watch? So there's still risk, but you certainly wouldn't go to an online marketplace, Facebook marketplace.
Definitely not.
And go and meet some guy in the pub car park. And
gives you in a carrier bag and a bus stop.
Yeah, here's my 10 grand watch. I'm looking for $6,000. The ones, the twos, the threes, the fours, the fives. Yeah, you're not going to do that.
Why is it ticking, Dave?
Yeah. Why is the sweeping hand ticking? Or the crown logo drops inside the dial. So
it says Bolex.
Yeah. We've all seen the Lucky Man. The market, like way pre-COVID, didn't have a lot of options. And then along come Watchfinder with basically a huge budget to educate people on social media. We buy luxury watches.
Yeah.
And if you've never engaged, you would go, that's fantastic news, because they buy your watch off of you. You're thinking scrappage value, 60%.
Yeah, sounds very reasonable.
60% of the retail of when you bought it, that's what sits in it. That's great. They then sell them on, making a little markup for themselves to go back into their marketing and profits. And right, great. Reality, you go in there with a brand new watch that you bought today. So let's say Black Bay Pro. So it's like £4,000. Let's say it's on the nose £4,000.
Yep.
Then it's not even that much, is it? Is it 3,580 quid, Black Bay Pro? So you go in, you buy it today from an AD. You then want to take it to Watchfinder. Watchfinder are going to go, it's 1,500 quid.
Probably less.
Ouch.
Probably what? But you're absolutely right. The thing I've kind of figured with Watchfinder is that they offer about 50% to you of what the resale value is.
Yeah.
So as an example, we know someone who was trying to sell a Tudor Black Bay Bronze, which, I mean, what's that, about 2.5 is its value roughly?
Yeah, I think it's about that.
Like if you're going to average it. They offered him, first of all, 1,100.
Yeah.
And he kicked off and said it's worth way more than that. And I think they might have pushed it up to 13, but about half of what it's worth. And I know myself, when I tried to sell, I was interested to sell the Breitling Chronomat, bimetal one that I had. Again, they offered me about half of what its resale value was.
Yeah. It's not to poo-poo.
No, they've got to make
retailer.
money. That's their model.
Yeah. So they're gonna go, look, the resale value is this. We need 50% markup.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're going to be devastated at this news.
You've got to be desperate.
Right. Yeah. And if you need to put your hand on money, great that there's a solution.
Yep.
However, what if you don't have to give half to someone else? What if you can claw back as much as possible?
Yeah.
And never before did I trust an online seller, an online marketplace.
And eBay was awful for its reputation. Like, you'd get dodgy sellers, you'd get fakes, and there's very little comeback. There's no returns.
Well, you can look online now and put tag cure, and there are so many variations of quartz models of tag that are blatant fakes.
Yes, I don't want to say that this is like all amazing about eBay changing watch market. It's a very specific part of the watch market that has changed. When they introduced the authenticity guarantee for watches, it meant that any watch over £1,500 in value is guaranteed to be authenticated by an independent authenticator. So at that point, any watch that's in that price bracket and above, suddenly it's like 100% peace of mind. You know it's going to work. You know it's going to be exactly as described. And most importantly, you know it's going to be authentic.
Yeah.
That the problem therein lies is that if we all say, like, it's all amazing and go and rush over to eBay to buy watches, you might start thinking that every watch on eBay is legit. There's still going to be some grey area.
Yeah, so it has to have, like a blue tick on X, it has to have this blue authenticity guaranteed.
I think.
But you can use it as a search term.
Yeah, it's there as a filter. And also it's only available from UK to UK. I think it's only inside the same country. I don't know about other territories, but if you...
Do you know what? That's fine for me, because when I do my filtered search, I always look to see UK only as the default.
Yeah.
So I'll put UK only, authenticity in my filters, and then let's go.
And what an awesome thing is, like, so now we have this peace of mind situation where any valuable watch is going to be authenticated. So now I have a search engine for legitimate watches that I'm going to buy directly from the seller. No middleman, no nonsense. You're selling a watch. I want to talk to you about buying the watch.
Oh, guess what? Because you're buying it direct from me, I can answer everything about it.
There's history.
So I can include the receipt from when I bought the watch.
Yeah.
If you want that, I've still got that. I've got, everything in the pictures, the swing tag, da-da-da-da.
And here's the really exciting thing from a buyer and seller transaction, I think, on eBay. You're going to be better off as the seller in this situation because you're not getting a middleman cut half the value. You're putting it up as what the average list price is. Let's say that Black Bay bronze, let's say you've listed it $2,500. I can talk to you directly about all the information about this watch, but I can also go, would you take $2,200 for this watch? And you're thinking, I'm already saving $1,000 by selling it direct.
Yeah.
I know it's legit because it's going to go to some independent person in between. You're saving money still, even by offering me a deal. I feel great because I've got the best possible deal ever and it's guaranteed to be authentic.
So you're happy because it's been authenticated.
Yeah.
I'm happy because I'm sending it to the authenticators who are going to say, yes, it's legit, and then ensure the journey onto you. So I'm protected. So you can't say it arrived and there was nothing in the box.
So you've got, exactly, you've got this perfect setup straight away. But obviously any marketplace historically was expensive. There's always some cost involved in selling a watch. Always is. It's either with a pawnbroker or a watchfinder that's going to rip you off buying it off you, or you're going to have to advertise it somehow, or as a commission with the jewelers. eBay then introduced 0 selling fees for private sellers.
It's amazing.
And from selling watches on there, my dipping my toe was buying a watch with authenticity first of all, and then selling some expensive watches on there. I was like, well, there's bound to be a cost involved because I've got to send it to an authenticator who's then got to receive it, check it over, take it apart, do whatever it is they do. Then they've got to repackage it in new packaging and send it on to you. That's expensive. The whole thing is free.
It's crazy.
The whole thing is free. I don't understand where the transaction
happens.
happens.
Let me follow both parts of the journey. So first up, you buying a watch.
Yeah.
How does it play out as your experience?
The first watch I bought was the Tudor Black Bay chronograph. And this was actually another kind of exciting thing. There was one of those random voucher code moments that eBay have.
Love them.
It was £300 off maximum discount on this thing. I saw this Black Bay chronograph that was already listed quite cheap. Looked like it was in beautiful condition. It was only like 2 years old, box papers, immaculate condition, from a jeweller's that happened to be listing their watches on eBay, which is the other thing that happens.
I've seen that so much. X-Display.
Or they've bought in watches, they've got some secondhand stock and they're just putting it on eBay, but they're an actual jeweller's. It's really exciting to see. So it was a great option.
You ripped them off by £300 off of a great deal that they had anyway.
So they didn't lose the £300. It was eBay that gave them the... It was just to encourage
the
commerce.
So you had an online voucher code for £300
off, and it was already listed at $3,000. So I got that watch for $2,700.
Yeah, that's technically theft.
I felt bad.
Yeah.
It came from a jeweller's in Glasgow. They sent it. So this was my first following the journey. They sent it to the authenticator. You get this like tracking the whole way, and it's like arrived at authenticator. And then 24 hours later, they've checked the watch over. They package it up, and it comes to me tracked as well, and in a whole new like eBay box. And it was exactly as described, and it was an absolute bargain. And I didn't have to pay anything for that service.
Yeah, and I think the added thing that you can kind of throw in there is they give you a verification card as well, don't they?
Yeah.
So you can kind of add that to the wealth of what you get with
that's an interesting point. I don't know if that's going to hold any... If you think like 5 years' time when people start reselling eBay watches that have been authenticated, I don't know if that's going to hold any...
No, I don't think so, because it's already been authenticated once, doesn't it? And like that was 5 years ago, so it needs to go through it again because you could have switched it out or what have you.
What I mean is from a buyer's confidence perspective, does it add any like perceived value? Like, I can see that I know it's going to get authenticated, but... Yeah,
I think it's probably more of a personal one. When you just think about it with like a more calculated view, you go, if I see a listing that has, here's the box papers authenticity from eBay, I'm going to go straight away, I know you already bought this used.
Yes.
So it's almost like an extra keeper on the logbook.
I could probably get a better deal here.
Yeah. So maybe it's not a great thing to include, but it's definitely for you, the person who's just buying it. So that's like receiving. And then when you're selling, you just send it all off and it's free, and like as if you're sending it to the end user. But
exactly that. The address you get given when you... So it's automatic is the first thing. When you list a watch on there, over £1,500 as in value, it automatically gets added to this authenticity. You don't have to do anything. You then, when the buyer pays for it and it gets held in like an escrow, basically, you get an address, and the address is for the authenticator, and there's like a little code you have to write on the address. And again, it's sent off. You track it, obviously, when you send it. It arrives at the authenticator. The buyer's then getting this tracking updated as well, and then you get the all clear. Your watch has passed authenticity, exactly the same as if you're buying it, just in reverse.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's arrived with the buyer, the funds then clear 2 days later from escrow. But when you receive a watch through authenticity, it has some paper tags on it as well, which are like returns void if removed. So the authenticator like wraps some like paper security tag on it.
Yes, you can't wear it for a couple of days and go, nah, it's
knock it up and go, oh, there's loads of dings in it that you didn't tell me about.
Yeah.
So that's the things they check for. Is it authentic is the big one. Is everything there? And is the description exactly the condition of the watch?
Yeah.
So like, is there any damage, or like, is there a part of the movement that doesn't work? The thing that gave me the most confidence was this. It wasn't that I was the first person to go on this rope swing.
Yeah.
Viewer named Matt.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
He was looking to buy an Omega Seamaster. Again, it was authenticated through eBay. He got a deal that he was happy with, pays his money, it gets sent to the authenticator, and then the authenticator spots that the date wasn't changing
bang on midnight
or something. There was a problem with the date function anyway of the complication. They said it still works. You can manually change it, but it won't change when the hands past midnight. Are you happy with that? So they then give him an option. Are you happy with that, or do you want us to send it back to the seller and you get a refund? So they gave him the option at that point, and he was like, no, actually, I want a proper watch that was fully working.
Yeah,
please send it back. So they caught a problem, and then they gave him the option of what he wants to do about it.
Yeah. So, and do you know what? That first-hand story from Matt nearly catching a cold makes you go, oh, wow. So if they can save you from those pitfalls, that really is more than just authenticating, isn't it? It's like going, well, just a word of caution here.
Yeah.
Because even if that just needed a service, you're still talking like another 500 quid versus another watch listing that's online.
Yeah.
Would you pay an extra 500 quid? And I think whenever you buy an older watch, you've always got to be prepared to just drop a service on it.
Yeah, it's going to happen at some point. It's funny, isn't it, as we're talking about secondhand watches, that part of the watch market's never talked about enough. You have like, does it have box? Does it have papers? There's never, does it have full service record?
Do you know what? That grinds my gears, something terrible.
Yeah.
Because I maintain all of my watches with services. So they keep to their service intervals and nobody else does it.
No.
And then I think when you're selling a watch and you go, well, that's a 12-year-old watch. So has it had its like A and B? Has it had its services? When you reach out to people and they go, no, I've not had it serviced. Like, what?
And as someone who's, I'd say, got a medical problem of buying watches, like I'm actually addicted. The only time it's appeared in my conscious of like buying a watch and it having increased value for the service history is when it's just had it serviced. Then it's really attractive. It's like it's just had its service and it's just come back and I've just put it back in the box. Now suddenly I'm like, oh, this is worth a little bit more to me.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be in great condition. The movement's going to be perfect.
They are pristine after a full service.
Oh, yeah, it's special, isn't it?
The whole polishing and everything. And it is like a brand new watch again.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of feel like, you know, treat everything with more caution around it.
Yeah.
It's like when you drive out of a forecourt with a brand new car and it's like that because
it's 4 foot wider than it normally is.
Yeah, because of that pristine paint, the car's a lot wider, you know, give it a wide berth. Find the parking space that you can straddle.
I was just saying, like, the secondhand market on eBay, it's still without its issues, but all secondhand buying and selling is complicated in some way. There's some, you might get unlucky, but that part of the market that's over £1,500, it suddenly feels like it's like risk-free.
Well, you can't get caught out with a fake or a broken watch or
Exactly.
something that doesn't meet the description that you believed it was.
And then from a seller's perspective, it's free to sell it, and I'm giving the buyers complete peace of mind because of the authenticity. And I have access to like thousands of people that are going to be interested in buying watches.
Well, do you know what it's done? It's changed the way that you've behaved
Totally
to being
has.
a lot more reckless as a watch addict. Yeah, so you're buying a lot more faster and carefree because you just go, oh, I'll sell it.
Yeah.
And do you know what's wonderful is actually seeing that, yeah, you can sell it pretty quick
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So you buy something right and you can sell it and not lose,
Yeah.
which is great because anyone that, and it winds me up when people go, that will make money.
No,
It won't make money, but
No.
maybe you can park some of your money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always have that scrappage of 60%.
Yeah, I think
That's what I hope for.
Like
and it's not of where the market grows.
No.
It's of the day that
of
you
the
paid.
day that you bought it. They say that even with like Rolexes, as an average, they're worth, and they're the kind of best performers, they're worth the price you paid at the moment you bought it, typically.
Yeah.
So if you bought like a Submariner now, it's about 10 grand, isn't it, roughly? In 10 years' time, it'll be worth probably 10 grand still, if the market doesn't change. That's roughly. And they're the best performers. I think if you can come out of, if you bought a watch at retail, if you can come out with that 60%, you're doing well.
Yeah. Can I share with you another hack? It's a bit devious.
I like devious.
Okay. When I am stalking,
Yeah.
right? So just imagine this. There's Pete. I'm like a cheetah.
Yeah.
Right? I'm stalking.
Oh, you're in the bushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's that over there?
It's a Tudor Royal.
Oh, Tudor Royal. Oh, I like the Tudor Royal.
Here we see Pete stalking a Tudor Royal in the wild.
That's a good price.
He hasn't eaten a watch for 7 days.
Oh, I like that. How do I let them know that I might be interested? And there's just bottom right-hand corner of the image.
Yeah.
There's a like heart.
Yes.
And it's like dropping a like on a hot girl's Instagram profile. Like.
At some
But
point,
like-
she might notice.
The first time I did it, I was like, nice watch, mate. Like. Didn't think anything of it. I'm not a big eBay user, or wasn't, right? I'll drop a like. Then I realised that this is part of the cheetah's skill of hunting down the gazelle. Oh, the gazelle is like, oh, I'm love drunk now that you've sent me a like.
Yeah.
And they send me an offer, which
Yes.
is like the gazelle just going, oh, just have a little sleep.
Yeah.
So then I see the injured gazelle, AJ, with their offer and pounce.
It's built into the service of the seller.
Yeah, so you
Automatic
drop, you
offers.
drop a like.
Yeah.
Somehow the person selling the watch goes, someone's interested. Do you know what?
Here's 5% off.
Yeah. And I go,
Oh, that's actually quite good now.
I actually thought it was a good price. So,
Yeah.
5% is 5%.
It's incredible. I think what I'm getting at is that eBay has fundamentally, with the free selling, with the authenticity, and the fact there's so many watches on there and watch buyers and sellers, it's fundamentally changed the secondhand watch market to the point where I don't look else. If I'm thinking about pre-owned watches, I don't bother looking elsewhere. That's where I go to. The beautiful thing with that is that, like you say, you can build up this beautiful watch list history of like, these are the watches that I like. You start honing in on like, I really want to buy the Tudor Explorer. So I'm going to look for loads of those. The thing that happens then is you start to get a real idea of what this watch is worth secondhand, because you get to see all the prices and the variations and go, oh, there's an average price here of this amount.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, you know the value of the watch you're looking at. And even if you're not going to buy a second-hand one, you want to buy it brand new, you know what the damage is going to be through all of that research that you've done.
So that's some great news. Let me give you the bad news.
The reality.
The reality is you've now learned all of these prices.
Yeah.
You go out with the wife, you see some retailers and you go, Salvation, there's a jeweler's.
Yes,
Right?
watches.
So you just go look in the window and you go, how much? Nothing ties up.
No.
Nothing ties up. You've been looking at X display models and now you're looking in the shop window and going, wow. So you had this idea of all of the prices and then you fall over when you look at the retail side.
There is another flip side to that,
Yeah.
which is really exciting, and it happened with the Black Bay 41 that I bought.
Yeah.
And it happened with a Bell & Ross GMT that you didn't buy, that you let slip. You just stared at it for ages, and then it went, all right.
Are you going to continue to bring this up? Because that's the second time you've mentioned it in
Like
our
2
Watch
episodes.
Addicts.
Yeah, no, it's
Anonymous.
yeah, because I know how much it hurts you. Well, yeah, the flip side to that is when you know like the average value of a watch secondhand of what's actually selling, not like of what Watchfinder are wishfully asking for.
Yeah.
When you go past the jeweler's window and they're clearing stock, and suddenly you see a Black Bay 41 for £2,200 new, you go, they sell for more than that secondhand. Or at least, like, they sell for that secondhand. So you're buying a brand new watch, and that happened with this, happened with that 41. I'm sure there was another watch I did it to as well. Super Ocean.
Yeah. It's almost like it's the unspoken thing. Nobody can promote as an authorized dealer that they'll do a deal.
No.
But obviously it's like TK Maxx have the end of season stuff. Well, for watches, that's the grey market.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to let it go at a bit of a deal in order to get the best value out of that watch, or sell it on to grey?
They want to they want the money first.
Which is
don't they?
typically like, I've got a consignment of 50 watches
Yeah.
and this is the value of it. And then you're taking a real lowball price.
I'd like to get a mystery box of watches.
I would love that.
That'd be amazing.
We
wouldn't
should do it. And then, the ones we don't want, we can eBay.
it? Yes.
It would be so exciting. Don't
so
tell me
for
what's
that.
in it.
Yeah. Just
No, maybe you need, yeah.
just men's watches.
Yeah.
Just men's.
It would be like, it's the equivalent to a tub of broken biscuits.
And in that tub of broken biscuits, when you're digging around, you find the full bourbon. You know that moment?
Yeah.
We've all done it. And you're like,
And then imagine if they do a consignment that is like Swiss made. That's like the chocolate coated biscuits.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's really something. No, it's got me excited. I wonder how we could set up a fake jewelers.
Well, why don't we just set up a real one?
Yeah, and then we'll
We just sell the watches.
everything off
Yeah.
that we don't want and keep the watches we do want. Do you know the worst thing about this stupid idea of talking about this is we've just shared with everyone, don't sell us your watches, sell them on eBay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a
That's-
mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But if you're a viewer and you want to sell your watch, then I'm always willing to listen to buying watches. I like buying watches. Please sell me your watch.
Yeah.
Cheaper than eBay.
AJ, I've talked enough about eBay. What I want to say to you and to them is always make sure you buy a good watch because it will always get you home.
And if you buy a bad watch, don't eBay it. Sell it to me because I'll probably buy it off you.
Yeah. But I appreciate you joining us for this Watch Addicts talk.
Well, that's good. I like what you've done there.
Yeah.
Twat. I said it out loud. I wasn't supposed to say it, was I? TW. I'm so
Watch
sorry.
it. You've ruined it for me now.
Yeah, I know. And then.
And if you enjoyed it, there's loads more. So make sure you're subscribed to keep up to date with future videos that we drop on the channel.
Bye.